What's going on, people of planet Earth? Welcome to the channel. Now, today is all about Fast Striker on the PlayStation 4. I just want to talk about the game, talk about some of the gameplay mechanics, and compare it to versions that were released on other systems. And no, I don't have the AES or the MVS version, so Fast Striker on the PlayStation 4. Let's check it out. Okay, so this is the copy of Fast Striker I got in from PlayAsia, and the cover art, it looks nice. That's a collector's edition, so the box looks pretty good. PlayAsia always puts the saran wrap over top of all their collector's editions, and it's resealable, kind of like the like a CD sleeve or something like that. And they did give me these stickers. I got a Fast Striker sticker, and this is a PlayAsia sticker. It's hard to see; it's all white. I got a bunch of white stickers on my car. I might add it to the stickers I got on the back of my window. And this looks like one of their business cards, not a sticker, but I'll probably save it anyway. Okay, let's pop this sucker open, and I'm going to be careful to save that plastic so I can reuse it. That way I don't have to buy something to put it in. And this is limited. This is number 1049 out of, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand, 2,500. I don't know how many copies they made. Let's get the old box opener out, because we still have some saran wrap we got to take off. Just be careful not to damage anything. I don't know how anal you guys are about opening your package, but I'm super anal. You know, I'm not too crazy about condition before I buy something, but once I buy something, I try to maintain the condition of that item the way I got it. So I'm really careful when I open these. You know, sometimes I'm able to open the top and just leave the cellophane on the box, which helps protect the box, especially if I want to resell it or, you know, sell it to a friend, or if I get another copy or whatever the reason is. So I'm just trying to slowly take my time and slice this sucker open. And you can see my hand, my dog, I play around with my dog a lot. He chews on my hand. He likes to bite me. That's his way of saying he loves me, though. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ, I want to drop it. And I try not to bend the cardboard when I'm opening these things up, man. Come on. Come on, you son of a bitch. Oh, God, I just bent it up. Oh, well. Oh, well. Just another casualty of the war. Alright, so inside the box now, this is the same kind of box that Shiki Hondo Soul Eater came in. They do a lot of their collector's editions like this. They made 2,200 copies, and this is number 1049 out of 2,200. This game does have a soundtrack. Now that's awesome, because the Dreamcast version did not come with a soundtrack, at least the one that I got, and the soundtrack to this game is pretty killer. So I'll probably just leave this one sealed and listen to it on YouTube. Like I've listened to the YouTube soundtrack for Fast Striker a few times in my car. And here's the game. The game is sealed as well. So they use a lot of packaging material on this, don't they? A lot of cellophane, a lot of plastic. Okay. Let's rip this damn plastic off. All right. Does it come with a manual? Yep. Yep. You got a manual on this one. A rarity in this day and age. So let's see, is it a color manual? Is it a color manual? I bet it is. It absolutely is. Awesome. Awesome. Great value. Great collector's edition. Not the best I've ever seen, but, you know, pretty good. That's my copy of Fast Striker. Alright, real quick, before we get into the gameplay, I gotta go over the menu system. Not really a whole lot to show here, but there's your controls. Not a whole lot to do there. Sound, you got sound effects and volume. You can kind of tweak that. And on the screen, you have the majority of your options. Full vertical scale, that's probably as close as you're going to get to Tate mode in a game like this. You can change the scan line intensity. You can change the wallpaper. They do have several different wallpapers in this game to choose from. You can also change the wallpaper brightness, although I don't really think that's an option I would really utilize. You know, you can change the gamma. I mean, pretty much, guys, this is just a straight up port of what you would have gotten on the AES, the MVS, and the Dreamcast. Okay, so now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this video. So what is Fast Striker? Well, Fast Striker is a 2010 vertically scrolling shooter developed by German indie developer NG Dev Team. Fast Striker saw an AES as well as an MVS and Dreamcast release in 2010. In 2011, there was also an iOS release, but I don't own an iPhone, so I can't tell you much about that. The PS4 port actually didn't happen until October of 2018. Now, I just mentioned that this game was developed by the NG dev team. Now, there's two companies, and feel free to comment in the comment section. I want to know more about this. So, I noticed that HuCast and NG dev team have releases that are very similar. They almost seem like they're the exact same company. So, I've dug around on the internet. I found very little information. I was on a blog one day, and a guy commented back that both HuCast and NG dev team are basically two different brothers that operate two different companies that are, I guess they're pretty much in cahoots. And I guess that would kind of make sense, because if you like put the games, if you spine them out, they look so similar. And, you know, they're both German, so it just makes sense to me. And it kind of reminds me of PCE Works if you guys play games on the PC Engine. Now, let's move on to the graphics, the visuals of this game. Now, I can't really comment on the AES or the MVS versions because, I mean, even though I have an Neo Geo, but I do not own those versions of this game. Those versions of this game they'll cost you your soul. I mean, they're extremely expensive. I mean, there's one on eBay and a lot right now. I think the guy wants like $3,600 for it, so yeah, that's out of the question. The closest thing I'm going to get to that is having a Neo Geo EverDrive and just having the ROM on an SD card. That's the closest I'm going to get. But, okay, so let's say you're playing this on your Dreamcast, because I do want to start there. If you're playing it on the Dreamcast, it does look pretty good. Now, if you're playing it on a Dreamcast with a VGA box to HDMI, it looks a little bit better. So the game looks pretty good on the Dreamcast. Now we move forward a couple years later, and we have the PS4 release. Now, the PS4 release is pretty much a direct port of the original version of this game. Now, I don't know if it's a port of the MVS AES version or of the Dreamcast version. I'm not quite sure. But all those games are pretty much the same thing. Now, I was thinking when I got this game that it would be similar to, because this game's very similar to the HuCast game, Ghostblade. This game really reminds me of Ghostblade, although for my own personal reasons, I feel like Ghostblade is definitely the better of the two games, but that's beside the point. So when Ghostblade came over to the PlayStation 4, it had an HD remake. The gameplay is still the same. It's just the graphics were prettied up. It was dusted off, dolled up, and it looked good on the system. Now, that's not the case for this game. It has the same graphical style that you would see in a Dreamcast with a VGA box to HDMI. It looks exactly the same. Now, I'm not going to say I was disappointed with that. I thought it was going to be polished, I thought. And that's not the case with this game. Now, I do know that for hardcore players like me, you know, that's not really that big of a deal. But for people new to the shooter genre, or just getting into the PlayStation 4, or maybe you're just getting into import gaming, I can kind of understand how that might be a turnoff. But I'm just here to say, don't let that deter you, because this is still a pretty decent game. And even though it's a really hard game, I do recommend it for people new to the genre, because it'll help sharpen your skills. So overall, even though this game doesn't have the HD style that Ghostblade does, it still has great graphics that look really good. They're really colorful. I mean, look at that parallax scrolling going on in the background. I'm a big fan of parallax scrolling. Now, it's not the kind of parallax scrolling that you would see in the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis, but it is the kind of parallax scrolling you would see out of Sega Saturn, or if you've played any of the shooters on the Saturn like Darius Gaiden. Now, when I think about this game running on an AES or an MVS, I mean, my God, the parallax scrolling is pretty intense. And I could only imagine the cartridge must be like one of those almost 1,000 meg cartridges to run on a Neo Geo. So, yeah, I give it to you, NG Dev team. To develop a game this complex to run on an AES or an MVS cartridge, it's pretty impressive. As far as the levels go in Fast Striker, well, there's 6 of them. And they're not very diverse. All the levels kind of look the same, and I'm not really trying to say anything negative about the game, but the levels do blend together. And don't get me wrong, they look cool, they look beautiful, and the parallax scrolling is great. But I do feel like that this game was made to the best of its ability for that cartridge, for the AES cartridge, for the MVS cartridge, and because of that, we got direct ports to the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 4, I feel like. So I feel like everything originated from that original game that was meant for the MVS and the AES. But overall, I do feel like it's really cool that we got those type of ports physically on the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 4. So again, good job, NG Dev team. Now, as far as the controls go, the battle mechanics, I guess the game mechanics, if you will, you have your 8-way movement, you can use a D-pad, you can use an analog stick, and everything just feels solid. It's the perfect speed for the ship for this game, so I really don't feel like you need to change any speed of anything. But again, you do not have the option to change your ship's speed for people that like to do so. Now, as far as the battle system goes, it's okay. I mean, you pretty much only have to concern yourself with 3 buttons. You have 2 fire buttons and a special button. One fire button is like you would guess, it's your regular spread shot like you would see in any other shooter. The other one is a reverse shot where you can shoot from behind. And I just have to say this, I am not the biggest fan of that particular battle mechanic. I mean, it's okay. I just feel like it's a fad and they just added it to the game, and I wish they would have kept it like Blvd and just left it off. I'm not the biggest fan of that shooting from behind. It's an added battle mechanic that I feel like the game doesn't need, but it's there. And anyway, so your special, you have something called a strike shield. So you pick strike shields up. I think they give you maybe 1 when you start off. You kill certain enemies and you can pick them up. And they act kind of like as an extra life. Like in games like Dodonpachi, when you get hit, I keep referencing Dodonpachi, but when you get hit, you use a special. And this game kind of works the same way. You get hit, you use your strike shield. And what this strike shield is if you get hit, or if you use a strike shield as a special, your ship starts to glow and you can move really fast and glide across the screen. And you become invincible. This is for a short period of time now, but you become invincible, and you can also kill your enemies, by running into them. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of that game mechanic either, because traditionally in shooters, when I have a special, I want a screen clearing bomb. Or it doesn't even have to clear the whole screen, maybe just a small portion of the screen, but whatever I use as a special, I like it to kill the enemy from the other side of the screen. I do not want to use my special and then have to run my ship into the enemy. So, again, I'm not too crazy about that battle mechanic. But those are just 2 reasons why I feel like Blvd or Blvd HD on the PlayStation 4 is a much, much better game. But again, don't get me wrong, this game is still pretty good. It's just not no Blvd. So overall, guys, I do feel like this is a pretty good game. For people new to this genre, this is going to be a pretty tough game, but it will sharpen your skills, and that's great if you want to play other games in the genre. Now, for old-timers to the genre, who knows, you might play it like I did and find those couple little game mechanics that rub you the wrong way, but I feel like you're not. I feel like that's just me liking the certain kind of games that I like. Overall, I think they did a great job. I think they tried something new. I do feel like for the most part it did work, and I think for the money, you can't go wrong with the PS4 release of Fast Striker. Okay, so again, guys, I'm not trying to point out all these glaring defects in the game or anything. I just noticed a couple little things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I do want to say overall, Fast Striker is an awesome game, and you should definitely pick it up, especially if you like shooters. Now, let's talk about the price. Now, this is a limited release. I think they made 2,500 of these, so you can go on PlayAsia's website right now and buy this for $35. Not just this. It's like a collector's edition with a soundtrack. And I think that's a great deal, although you do have to pay shipping. So while you're shopping on PlayAsia's website, you might want to pick some other stuff up too. But you can go to Video Games New York. I think they charge $50 for it, and then you go on eBay. It just goes up from there. So if you're interested at all in playing this game, pick it up now. It's $35 plus shipping, whatever that ends up being. And I just think overall it's a great deal, and I'm so glad that we actually got this release on the PlayStation 4. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. So remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace out.